It has been just 100 days.
I was saved by God to make America great again.
Welcome back to our channel. You're here with your host, the Conservative Bird, and your co-host, me, Double D, and you are on the Brick Road Podcast.
Yes, sir. Welcome. And like he said, this is day 100 of Trump's presidency. And guess what? He's accomplishing a lot more than the liberal media wants to tell you. We have a lot of proof of it. But the proof is in the pudding. Everything going on in the country right now is going really good. The tariffs are actually working a lot more well than the media wants you to think. Everything else is going good. The immigration is going great. And today today he's actually having a rally in Michigan just to talk about his accomplishments for the first 100 days. But we're going to start off on this video with Caroline Leavitt actually holding her own little press conference for today, just giving you guys a quick update of what really is going on.
Good morning, everybody. Happy first 100 days. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge that the bipartisan Take It Down Act passed the House last night. This important legislation was championed and guided through Congress by our wonderful First Lady, Melania Trump, including through her direct advocacy on behalf of survivors during her passage, the passage efforts. The Take It Down Act criminalizes the publication of non-consensual intimate imagery and requires social media and similar websites to remove such content within 48 hours of notice from a victim.
So what exactly does that mean?
That means like people who put revenge porn and stuff like that of their exes. Remember how people were doing revenge porn and putting them up on social media, putting them up on porn websites,
yes.
you name. Well, that's now illegal. If you do that, you can now go to jail for it. It's now a federal crime. So
I thought it was wasn't it always illegal, but did they just recently make it to where you can actually go to prison for it now or something?
Well, basically, it forces the media sites to take it down right away.
Okay.
They have 48 hours to remove it, or they can be held liable also. I
mean, hey, to me, this is a win. You shouldn't be doing that anyway. If you do something with somebody, that's your problem. That's all on you. I don't care what you do, but they shouldn't be sharing it with people if both people aren't consenting. So I agree with this.
Oh, absolutely.
They should definitely go to federal prison for something like that. I didn't even know that this was a thing that was on the table, honestly. This is just another win in my eyes for President Trump.
It is, and a win for Melania because she actually sponsored the bill.
Right. It seems like she wants to do a lot more good than harm for the people.
Yeah, Melania, and plus she wants to see people stop using that. I mean, she was kind of a victim of that herself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Remember they put all the pictures of her naked up during his first term? Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that was wild.
And that was really cold, man. That was public because it was, for a magazine. So technically you can't do anything about it, but she asked them to take it down and they refused. So now if the victim says take it down, they got to take it down.
I like that.
Simple as that.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
The First Lady thanks all those who voted in favor of this important legislation, and the President looks forward to signing it when it arrives on his desk. Today officially marks 100 days of promises made and promises kept by President Trump.
Love it.
Promises made, promises kept.
Promises kept.
Trump.
I love it.
This has truly been the most historic start to a presidency in American history. After building the greatest economy in the world in his first term as president.
And hey, liberals, you guys can say what you want, but it's just a fact that it was literally the greatest economy.
Oh yeah,
you can not like him. You can not like him. You can hate the man, whatever. But you can't deny it. And I don't want to hear it was Obama's economy. Nah, we're not doing that because we're not giving credit to Obama for Trump and then taking away and then you guys want to act like Biden was this great president, but then you don't want to give the credit to Trump for any of it.
I heard a liberal the other day. His comment was, from the time that he took office to that day forward, it's all on him. I was like, oh yeah, well, that wasn't the same opinion you had when Joe Biden took over. You said it was always Trump's fault.
No, everything was Trump's fault.
Trump created a great economy. I'm like, well, if a great economy and a lot of jobs and a booming housing market was Trump's fault.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I refinanced my house. I was able to cut my mortgage rate from like 7% down to like 3.4.
Yeah. I mean, dude, some of them were as low as 2%, and he wants to do it again.
I know.
And he wants to get rid of the income tax. That external revenue service. I'm starting to like the way that sounds.
I'm liking it too, more and more.
President Trump is in the process of doing that all over again. The American people trust in President Trump. Since his first day in office, President Trump has focused on defeating the Biden inflation crisis, bringing down the cost of living, and making the United States the best place in the world to do business, invest, create jobs, and innovate. And President Trump's efforts are working. 345,000 jobs have already been added since the start of President Trump's term. Last month's jobs report.
That's a large number. 345,000. Everybody in the comments, let me know if you think that's an accomplishment or if that's a loss. I feel like that's a huge accomplishment.
It's a definite accomplishment. If you look at it compared to numbers, he's created 300,000 or plus jobs in his first 4 months as president.
Right.
When Biden's first 4 months as president, he created 300,000 more illegal immigrants across the border.
Exactly.
I don't know about you, but I'll take the jobs.
Yeah, I'll take the jobs too, and the illegal immigrants are getting out of here.
Yeah, they're getting deported.
Adios, amigos.
Saw nearly 100,000 more jobs than economists predicted. And it was the fourth highest month for private payroll growth in the past 2 years. 9,000 manufacturing jobs have been added to the economy already. This is a sharp contrast to the 6,000 manufacturing jobs that were lost each month in the final 2 years of the Biden administration. The U.S. employment...
Yeah, that was wild, dude.
I love how Caroline comes out. That's her name, Caroline Levitt, right?
Yes.
Did I get that correct?
Yes.
I love how she comes out and just points out all
Give
of the successes. Yeah, she gives it to him straight up forward. Let him argue it. Let him prove her wrong.
Where Jen Psaki came out, you asked her a question. Let me circle back to you on that. Circle back Psaki. And then John Pierre just cries all the time. Don't talk to me like that. That's not right. And she didn't know. Neither one of them knew anything about what was going on. And you could tell that they were just pawns. They didn't know.
Yeah, they didn't get their jobs because they were qualified. They got their jobs because they were political favors.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Jen Psaki.
Yeah, DEI hires 1,000%.
Oh, that was definitely that too. But Jen Psaki, she was above and beyond Biden's right-hand commie.
Wow.
Rate remains at historic lows. And thanks to President Trump, Americans are seeing price relief for the first time in years. The last inflation report showed the first consumer price decline since the COVID pandemic, a decrease in energy prices, and real average hourly wage growth. President Trump is delivering on his promises to lower costs for American families and businesses. Prices across the board for everyday goods have seen declines since this president was inaugurated.
That is true.
That is very true, you guys. And like I said, the liberals can cry about it all they want and not like them all they want. It's just the truth. They just don't want to see it. They don't want to. What it is 99% of liberals do not want to admit that they are wrong. They do not want to admit that just because they don't like the dude's attitude, they don't like that the guy's rich, they don't like that the guy he was a Democrat supposedly and now he's a Republican. They don't like it. They don't like the fact that they're so close-minded that they can't see outside the box and you can't see things from other perspectives.
And you know what they hate about him the most, Bird? They hate the fact that he stands for America first because Democrats are communists.
No, honestly, I think they hate the I think they hate him the most fact because he's white.
Well, white and he's that's one of the reasons they hate him. But the truth be told, I mean, they really do. Honestly, they hate him because they ain't him.
Yeah, they're mad because he doesn't represent them. He represents the people.
If Trump came out tomorrow and said, "You know what, Democrats, no tariffs," we're going to pay all the tariffs that every other country wants us to pay, and we're not going to charge them anything.
They would want tariffs. They'd want tariffs.
The following day, they'd be like, "Oh, he's backtracking on his tariffs."
Just like,
look it up. Backpedaling. I told you.
Right.
So we need these tariffs. Suddenly we'll need tariffs.
just like Nancy Pelosi during COVID when he cut off flights to certain countries, and then she's dancing down in Chinatown saying, "No, everything's all right. Everything's all right." It's because they only want to do what goes against him. It's so weird. And when somebody's representing the American people, that means that they are going against the American people. You guys see where it goes like that?
Yeah. If Donald Trump came out tomorrow and said, "I am protecting all puppies.
Yeah.
For now on, it is illegal to do anything bad to puppies." The day after, Democrats would be hanging puppies outside of their fences.
Without a doubt.
I'm serious.
Without a doubt.
Because Donald Trump wants to protect puppies, suddenly puppies will become part of the abortion subject.
Right.
Well, my dog has to have an abortion.
Yeah.
My dog does have to have an abortion. We can't have too many puppies. Too many puppies.
It's so weird, bro. It's so weird.
From airfare to used motor vehicles to prescription drugs, prices are dropping. In fact, last month's drop in the price of prescription drugs was the largest ever recorded. And after Joe Biden botched the response to the bird flu, President Trump and Secretary Rollins' aggressive plan have brought down wholesale egg prices more than 50% from inauguration.
That's just a fact.
That's absolutely true, man. It's the facts. The facts don't lie. Just go to Walmart.com. You can look it up yourself, people.
Yep.
Go look up 18 eggs. That's $3.89 right now.
Yep.
President Trump ended Joe Biden's reckless war on American energy and fossil fuels and has restored American energy dominance. And Secretary Wright, Secretary Doug Burgum are working hard on that effort every single day.
Yes, they are.
Oil and gas prices are now way down because of this bold approach.
They really are. I remember gas was at like $3.19, I want to say, 3 months ago or something like that?
Yeah.
And now I just looked, gas was $2.73 right down the street.
Yeah, or I mean, I've seen it as low as $2.59 today.
Yeah, I've seen like $2.61 a couple places.
I mean, honestly, the gas prices, I'll give this, the gas prices have actually been, I think when Joey B started tapping into the reserves at the last, he was trying to buy his votes back.
Oh, 1,000%. They knew what they were doing, bro. They knew exactly what they were doing.
But basically, the price of gas has been down since Joey B, basically opened up the reserves, and now since we're drilling our own again.
Yeah.
So, but he did it for political reasons. Donald Trump's doing it because he's trying to save our country.
Right. Now we got the Gulf of America that we can drill on.
Gulf of America, baby.
Yep, I love it.
Be drilling.
I had to plug the head in.
Drill. Yeah, I got
gasoline prices down 7%. Energy prices are also down as well. The Department of Interior just announced a new offshore drilling policy that will boost oil production in the Gulf of America.
Yeah, literally just said it, and she says,
"There we go.
We're thinking alike."
Barrels per day. On the deregulation front, President Trump is committed to cutting senseless red tape, especially for America's small business owners who are the backbone of our economy.
Without a doubt.
We know cutting regulation leads to lower costs and higher growth. The mass deregulation effort by this administration will help usher in the golden age of America, which is underway. Immediately upon taking office, President Trump blocked all of the unfinalized Biden-era rules, saving America's more than $100 billion, or $2,100 per family of 4 over the next decade.
Bro, listen, we could just do this whole video on this right here legitimately, and she'll just give you guys all the facts, and everything's legit 100%, and you can look it up to see if it's true, because I'll guarantee 1,000% she's not sent out here with anything on that paper that isn't true.
If you can't Google it and find the truth, I doubt she's going to say it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'll guarantee she's giving, this is crazy, dude, like, it's nuts. We're not going to spend the whole time on that, but definitely, she's 1,000% on point.
Well, here's the bottom line. With Caroline Leavitt, you'll never have to worry about circling back.
Right, because she'll just give it to you right then and there.
She puts it knocks with the knockout left, right. And a knockout punch,
and
baby.
the liberal media is so freaking predictable. She knows what they're going to ask them. So she's going to have the answer to any question that they're going to have, because they're not going to ask any question with substance. They're going to try and ask those questions that have the gotcha moments. But then she has it ready for them, and they don't know how to react. They're like, what do I do?
Every time they tried the gotcha, she's the one pointing the finger saying, gotcha.
Right.
She's really good at what she does.
She is.
You know what I mean? She really, even if she was lying, I would still believe her because her delivery is awesome. But I know she's not. That's the thing, is we've already cross-checked these things, so we know that what she's saying is true.
Right. We already know what's going on and what the deal is. So
the liberal media wants us to believe the sky is falling. Well, I'm sorry, Chicken Little, not today.
Not today. Not ever. So now we got a little bit here of just Trump giving a brief update of his 100 days. So let's
we'll let that clip roll, Bird.
An Air Force base is not going to be closing. We're going to keep it open for the people of Michigan and for our country. And I look forward to that some of you are going and some of you aren't. Any questions? Great. Jeff Bezos was very nice. He was terrific. He solved the problem very quickly. And he did the right thing, and he's a good guy.
I like that.
I like that.
You know, we all know that all these people really are doing at the end of the day is kissing ass.
He's talking about the tariff making.
No, I know. But we all know Bezos.
No. I'm asking. Is he talking about the thing where Bezos was saying where he was putting the tariff costs in there and then he took it out?
Yeah.
Decided not to add. Okay.
Yeah.
That was because that was unnecessary to even think that was a good idea.
And they know at the end of the day that Trump's not playing anymore. So it's better to fall in line than to just try and go against him. Because this is for the people. This is for the people. Yeah. This is for us.
Donald Trump is our David.
Yeah.
And the Democratic Party is our Goliath.
Yeah.
And
along with China.
And we are going to kill that bird with 2 stones.
Yeah, definitely.
Or we're going to kill both birds with 1 stone.
Yeah,
I said that backwards.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's what we're doing, though, for real. The demon rats and the Chinese communists, they're not taking advantage of us no more. Neither one of them. We're not letting the Democrats take advantage of our country anymore, and we're not letting the Chinese Communist Party take advantage of our people anymore.
And speaking of the Democrats and their like AOC and Bernie Sanders, what are they doing?
I don't know. I don't know.
Why is a member of the 1%, and I'm talking about Bernie Sanders, AOC owes more money than she makes, but
really?
Why is Bernie? Yeah, she's actually more in debt than she is. Her income is outweighed by her debt.
That's wild.
So, typical woman in their 20s.
Yeah.
So anyway, or no, she's in her 30s now.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bernie Sanders is going around telling everybody they want to fight the oligarchy. Isn't that kind of like the Michelin Man saying fight the tires?
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine so. It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense.
The dude literally doesn't he own? He owns 3 houses, if I'm not mistaken.
And all of them are almost $1 million in value. One of them, his DC home is like well over $1 million in value.
So does he let a bunch of illegals just live with him when they come here?
I don't. We should ask him if we ever get the chance. I want to know, Bernie. Yeah. I want to know.
Hey, Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders, are you doing your part? Are you doing your part, buddy? Are you housing some of these illegals? Are they working in your kitchen, Bernie?
No, not an update. No, not an update.
Mr. President, sir, Conrad. Jordan Conrad, doing the Gateway Pundit. I wanted to get your response on the leftist media. They're trying to hide the mugshots that are featured on the front lawn of rapists, murderers, pedophiles. What do you think of that? Aren't they proving the...
And if you guys don't know what's going on, Trump literally took mugshots of all these people, all the illegals that he deported.
That was great.
And put them in a line along the White House coming up the driveway so the liberal media could not miss it. So they see that these people actually are in trouble, and this is actually what's going on. Don't let them lie to you, and don't believe the lie.
You know what kills me is the liberal media was showing the hell out of that too. Like,
yeah, they really were.
They were using it to try to ostracize Trump, but the rest of us were like,
we loved it. We loved it.
We loved it. I don't know. The liberal media is so out of touch. They have no idea.
They don't get it.
That's why we call them the lamestream media, because that's what they are. They're friggin' lame.
That's very true.
The enemy of the people.
Well, I guess they are. I guess they are, right? Thank you. Who are you with?
I like your hat, by the way.
Who are you with?
The gateway pundit, sir.
Yo, I'm about to get one of those hats. I'm getting one.
Mr. President, what
It says Gulf of America.
Who seem not to be on board with your political agenda. What do you say
I think they're going to be all aboard. I think the Republicans are really with us. We have the big, beautiful deal. It's moving along, and I think we're going to have it taken care of. I think they'll all be there.
It's a big, beautiful deal.
Will you end the IRS? Tell us about your decision, dude.
Get rid of the IRS, Mr. President.
We just wanted to help them during this little transition, short term. And during this little, if they can't get parts, it has to do with a very small percentage. If they can't get parts, we didn't want to penalize them. And during...
I mean, rightfully so. They shouldn't be penalized if they can't get parts.
Right, exactly. And they'll get the parts, dude.
So that's what people's not understanding. Like, he's not just going to, tariff everything to make everything completely unaffordable. He's doing it strategically. So for certain things, he's going to do it a certain way.
He's just trying to get them to come to the table and, why should we be paying 125% and they pay nothing? That's BS, man.
Right. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but
and to be honest with you, I would prefer to make our stuff in America because it's made better.
True. Very true. I'd rather have quality over quantity.
Yeah, I mean, and I know most Americans would probably still rather pay less overall.
Oh yeah, that's just how people are.
But there are still a lot of us, man, who would still buy American.
Yeah, for
you know what I mean? Because we know the products are usually better.
Right.
And then they have an extra year, but it's for a very, very small part of the car. But basically, they're paying 25%.
Mr. President,
how do you end the IRS with the Internal Revenue Service?
And what's your message for all retailers who could do possibly the same thing?
Yeah, nothing that really, he's a good guy. I've gotten to know him over the last couple of years, and he's done a fantastic job. So I appreciated what he did.
How are you? There we go.
Yeah. Did you see Saquon Barkley went golfing with him and people were trying to give him a bunch of shit about it? He's like, I don't care. He's like, I just went golfing with Obama a couple months ago.
Yeah, dude, that was great. He just did the George W. That is, I know a lot of people don't like George W., but that is one of my favorite George W. moments was to watch my swing. That was great. That was awesome. He didn't have an actual golf ball and an actual golfing club, but you know what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was basically saying, lick my boots, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
What would it be? Well, I think we've done everything or it's in the process of being done. For instance, the border is in great shape. 99.9% came out again today. 99.9. That I would say that was my number one thing. The economy would be certainly right up there, and I think it's doing great. We were losing billions and billions of dollars a day with trade. And now I have that down to a very low level, and soon we're going to be making a lot of money. We're going to be reducing people's taxes, and we're going to get the big look.
I just don't get it, bro. Like, what do people not want their taxes lowered for? Why?
Because they've been convinced and they've been brainwashed into believing that those tax dollars are actually doing something for them.
Wild.
But really, it's doing more for the rest of the world than it's been doing for us. $60 billion here to Ukraine, $20 billion there to Ukraine.
Ed,
where's the auditor? I want Doge to go to Ukraine.
Ed, think about this, right? Think about this. Hear me out. This man served 4 years, right?
Yeah.
one of the greatest presidencies in modern day history, if not of all time. If not one of the greatest presidencies of all time. Seriously, with the way, with the economy, with the job market, with the housing rate, with all of that, right? He turns around, we get the election stolen from us in 2020, right? Turns around and comes back in 2024 to rerun again, okay? He gets shot, wait, let's go back to the first term, right? He was impeached twice. Found not guilty.
They already have articles impeachment already ready to start again.
Well,
they got like 4 people to sign it so far. That's it.
To be fair, Marjorie Taylor Greene did the same thing with Joe Biden. She did. Yeah, her and what's her name?
But Joe Biden was a dipshit, so I can understand it.
Very true. Okay, rightfully so then. She rightfully.
Because he should have been 25th Amendment in it.
So hear me out. So hear me out, right? He was impeached twice, found not guilty both times.
Yep.
Accused of Russian collusion, found no traces of Russian collusion. Right?
Yep.
Loses in 2020. Doesn't lose, in my opinion. I don't care what anybody says. That even if
voters who didn't show up the second time,
even if that's not the case, right? There are so many people that came out and said that if they would have knew that the Hunter Biden laptop was true, they would not have voted for Biden. They would have voted for Trump or not voted at all. 1,000%. And there's more than enough people that would have did that would have swayed the election, right? Okay,
absolutely.
So comes back in 2022 to run, 2024 to run again, right? Gets shot. Almost gets 13 felonies.
34 indictments.
34 indictments.
Felony indictments.
Almost gets.
Would have been misdemeanors for anybody else, by the way.
Right. Well, we already know it would have, because there was no. All that was is something that every contractor does.
Hey, while we're talking about that, can I make a comment to Tisha James?
Yeah, have fun.
enjoy federal prison AG General Letitia James.
Right, that's wild. That's another story.
That's why she was so good at mortgage fraud, because she was doing it.
How come these Democrats are always trying to marry their relatives to gain advantages over the system?
That fucks me up that they do that, dude. I don't understand that at all. Like, I
bunch of hillbilly Democrats.
Iman Omar, dude. It's like they're like the hillbillies of Somalian people.
I guess so. Maybe
nothing against hillbillies, but
hey, I got hillbillies in my family. I'm a hillbilly.
I'm total redneck myself, but I mean, it's just. But the point being is, that's a pretty goofy thing to do and marry your family members.
So he has all these indictments put on him. He gets shot, and he has 2 other assassination attempts.
Yep.
Still comes back, wins the presidency, right?
Yep.
And they're still not willing to give this guy his flowers.
No, dude, they're not going to, and they never will. And it doesn't matter, because we own the House, we own the Senate, and we own the executive branch. And quite frankly, we own the Supreme Court too, because that's our majority. All 4 branches in the majority. Donald Trump's got 18 months to get the agenda through.
You know what's funny?
18 months to do it. And I'm telling you, when the agenda finally gets through, in hindsight, we might even lose the Senate in 2026, but in 2028, they're gonna feel the benefits of everything, and J.D. Vance will be the next president of the United States.
Oh yeah, I see it coming.
That's my prediction. I guarantee it happens that way, because this is a long-term plan.
Yeah.
But the liberal media they want a quick failure.
No. They have no replacement. They have nobody that's appealing.
Dude, they spent 12 hours on the Capitol stairs yesterday, basically kumbaya-ing and making absolute. And dude, like what? 18 people showed up for it, and a bunch of photographers, and for what?
For nothing.
I would have been if I was a news media photographer at that kumbaya session.
Yeah,
I'd have been embarrassed,
without a doubt.
Very important element that we're working on now, maybe more important than anything with the border in good shape, is the fact, is the fact that we want to get, and very importantly, the big, beautiful New Deal. If we get that done, that's the biggest thing, what's happening in Congress right now. And I think we're going to get it done. We have great Republican support. If the Democrats blocked it, you'd have a 60% tax increase. I don't think that's going to happen. We have great support from Republicans. So the big, beautiful deal, that's what we want, the bill.
I love it.
You know what? They should call it the big, beautiful deal.
Yep.
Just like Roosevelt called his the New Deal.
Yep.
And just like Johnson called his the Great Society, I believe the big, beautiful deal, I like it.
I like it too. I like it too.
Sounds
today
better
marks
than
President
New Deal and
Trump's
Great Society. That's for sure.
Without a doubt.
100th day in his second term. This morning we were talking about what the...
It's crazy to think, bro. You know how idiotic these Democrats are? You want to know?
I live around them.
No, do you want to know how idiotic these Democrats are? If they would have just not messed with the election in 2020, they wouldn't have to deal with Donald Trump no more.
No, because they would have been totally trusted. America would have fell hook, line, and sinker.
Yep.
But God works in mysterious ways, my friend.
100%.
President has done so far, what changes we've seen since he has taken office, and how this term is different from President Trump's last term so far.
12 News journalist Trisha Hendricks joins us in studio this morning with more on his current approval ratings and what the president plans to do next. Trisha.
Yes, definitely a lot going on, a lot to discuss with all the issues that he's been after since he took office in January. So after a decisive victory in November, President Trump said that he believed that he had a mandate from voters to enact his agenda. He started moving quickly on the first day of his second term.
He does. I mean,
he has an absolute mandate.
We want the things that he's doing are the things that he ran on, which means these are the things that we voted for. And unfortunately, liberals, guess what? This is a majority of the country now that voted for it. You guys aren't the majority no more, so you guys just don't get to make all the rules. No more none of this bullshit. No more pushing all these gender ideologies on children and thinking that kids can do things that they shouldn't, that even adults shouldn't even be allowed to do.
And boys who think their girls shouldn't be allowed to play in female sports, and that's about time that he signed that. I love he signed that executive order and made that law.
It's crazy that here's the crazy thing to me. It shouldn't even have to be a law. It should just be a common sense factor.
You would think, but we live in a time where we deal with a party of people who have no common sense.
Yeah, common sense is not so common anymore.
Dude, at least 30% of the country still is diehard liberal dipshits. Honestly, they are who they are.
No, hey.
I mean, they're going to believe what they're going to believe because they're spoon fed it.
You got to call a spade a spade.
If a Democrat could learn how to read, that number would be 15%.
Yeah.
But look at them coming out of school, dude. They don't know how to read. They don't know how to write. They don't know how to count. So they have to depend on the government and the lamestream media telling them how to think because God knows they can't calculate it themselves.
Yeah, our inner cities are so bad right now.
I mean, they can't do it themselves, so
nope.
It is what it is.
It is safe to say that President Trump's first 100 days has been a whirlwind. After President Trump was sworn in,
a whirlwind is a good word.
Executive orders on a wide range of issues. We're talking immigration and the economy. So just in these first few months, he's hosted close to a dozen foreign leaders, including Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. And in that visit, of course, we all remember it was designed to discuss a possible end to the war with Russia.
Which, by the way, from what I've seen, I think you sent it to me yesterday, right? That Putin is now calling for a ceasefire.
Yeah, he wants to call for a ceasefire for 3 days.
Right, I'm cool with that. They need to have a ceasefire from now on.
Yeah, he wants a 3-day ceasefire so they can actually start discussions. Now, Putin is, I mean, you know how I feel about Putin too. I'm not a big fan. So I don't like him or Zelensky. I'm not going to lie. I've never been in favor of either one.
Right.
I'm not going to lie about that. I don't believe that American men and women should be over there and trying to sort it out for
not at all.
What Russian speaking people should be doing for themselves.
Without a doubt.
With that said, I would like to see the ceasefire. I would like to see the killing stop.
Yeah, because
and I think
I don't want to
it'd
see
be good
innocent
for the
people die.
world. Well, I also think that if it doesn't end soon enough, we're going to be in a world war.
Yeah,
it's an unfortunate reality, and it's just I see it coming. And
I think so too, honestly.
If we could just get both of these guys to stop having the wiener contest and sit down and actually, hammer something out and come to an agreement. A win-win situation would be ideal, but
yeah,
I'm not sure that can happen anymore. I'm becoming less and less confident in that. So.
I feel it.
We're going to do a back and forth. Take a listen.
We don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right?
The new Department of Government Efficiency and Tech billionaire Elon Musk are spearheading the administration's efforts to reform the federal government and to get rid of government waste. That's what they're saying. That resulted in the firing, though, of tens of thousands of federal workers across various departments and the decision to dismantle the Department of Education. But the White House is saying that President Trump has created 345,000 jobs since taking office in January, mainly in the non-government and government-adjacent sectors. It also counts the veteran unemployment rate is down 4.2% in January to 3.8% in March. President Trump taking a hardline stance on immigration, launching a series of deportation flights to El Salvador, prompting legal battles. And then finally, when it comes to trade, President Trump remains adamant.
These all seem like wins to me.
Huh?
I said this all seems like a win to me. Like this is all good.
I'm beginning to think the liberal media might be Trump's best spokesperson.
Right? They don't realize it. And they're just,
everything she's saying, I'm like, hell yeah, bring
yeah.
it on. Let's
Don't
do
they
it.
realize that this is what he this is what he ran on. Right? This is what he ran on. So this is what people voted for. All you guys are doing is saying, hey, guess what? Trump's accomplishing everything he said he was going to do.
That's right. It sounds like a win-win. That number should be way higher than 43%.
Yeah, they're lying.
His tariff policies will benefit Americans by bringing production back to the U.S. and increasing American jobs. But of course, that's all still to be determined. Coming up tonight in Michigan.
Hey, Bird, remind me if I ever run for Congress to hire this girl. She's good.
I got you.
All I got to do is put her out there to badmouth me for an hour. Dude, I'll get elected immediately.
Right. you'll be our new congressman of the neighborhood.
Right, yeah. She's gonna be my public relations manager, man.
I love it.
Dude, that's the best PR I've heard for Donald Trump yet.
Yeah, I don't think they realize it either that what they just did.
The liberal media makes really good commercials for the president. Damn, that was awesome.
Hey,
thank you, Democrats. Thanks for being so stupid.
Donald Trump needs to clip that and put that in like a commercial and says, "My name is Donald Trump, and I agree with this message."
Absolutely.
It has been just 100 days.
I was saved by God to make America great again.
A presidency like...
Yep, he really was. He really was. He was saved by God. There's nobody else survives a shot like that. No one. It's wild to think that he did.
No other. Norms upended.
The chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Allies shocked.
Canada is going to be a very serious contender to be our 51st state. We need...
I love that he's still going with this. Listen, and he was just talking about it yesterday again. It's so funny that he is trolling Canada with this.
Dude, it's hilarious. Now, all they got to do is stop the fentanyl and the fucking illegal immigration.
Yeah, and they're like, we're good. You guys are good. Do your own thing.
Yeah, because the truth to be told, dude, Canada's a liberal. If they were the 51st state, we would never have another Republican president again.
I don't know. They just voted that dude in.
Yeah, Tim Carney. He's a total liberal, dude.
Oh, I thought they voted the other guy in.
No, Bolivier lost. He lost Bolivier lost by a thin margin, but nonetheless, he lost.
Well,
so,
a thin margin isn't terrible.
Well, you got to remember, it's also Parliament.
Yeah,
so there's several parties.
Yeah, that's true.
It just so happens that the Liberal Party still won again. So basically, Justin Blackface Trudeau's party still won. But honestly, dude, now he's just going to take the blame for the whole tariff thing when it backfires on them.
Yeah.
And Bolivier, he'll come in 4 years and he'll win it.
Right. Yeah, we'll see.
for
Or
national
not.
security.
Or not. Yeah. We'll see.
And shafted.
You're gambling with World War III.
Moments no one
World
predicted.
War III.
Trump Gaza, #1.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. We'll own it. I'd like to see the chart if you have it.
Everyone predicted them, but it didn't soften the blow.
China, first row.
Until he U-turned.
They were getting yippee, you know?
Migrants
Yippee!
court-defying
Getting yippee.
deportations.
So little hippie.
There it is. All right, everybody. So everybody, this is what can we call this? Murderer's Row, I guess, right?
I like it. I like it. Murderers Row. I like it.
Or-
no. These are all child molesters too, and murderers.
So,
We'll just call it
MS-13
Murderers Row
Avenue.
worked.
All right, we'll leave it at that. This is a work. This is a work in progress, you guys.
Yes, it is.
In every way, for the delighted and the disgusted, this has been a truly consequential 3 months. And he will mark it here later today, a rally on the edge of Detroit, the Motor City in Michigan, the battleground state which helped to propel him back to the White House. To fix America, Donald Trump first needed to convince people that it's broken, and many did not need convincing. Look for decline here, and you will find it easily. Communities left behind. Look for bureaucracy and waste. You will find that too. Common sense silenced by wokeism. Many.
Is it just me, or does he look like the dorky guy from Something About Mary?
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like the dorky, the pizza delivery
Yeah,
guy?
yeah.
From Something About, but he sounds like him too. You know, the only thing he's missing is the cane and the lip.
That's so funny, dude. I would have said he kind of looks like a Lord of the Rings type of character.
Well, I think the guy plays in the same movie. Actually,
Probably is
I'm pretty sure. I'm sure it's the same actor, dude.
That's
You know what I
great.
mean?
Can relate
He
to
does.
that.
He
Immigration
looks
out of
something about
control, where politicians have been struggling with that for decades. And in just 100 days, Donald Trump has harnessed all of that into a package of change that feels like nothing short of a revolution. At a park on the banks of the Detroit River, the scorecards reflect the enduring divide.
Give him a 10. I would say 10 too. I mean, he's human. He's doing his best.
Oh, 0.
Go from a 10 to
He went from 10 to 0.
If I could do lower than 0, lower.
We're all so angry because we're under angry leadership, and that's not good.
The polling 100 days in tells the bigger picture, because with a 40...
It's funny that they asked 2 liberals and 2 conservatives. They had to keep it even.
Well, the funny thing is the 2 conservatives didn't even look like conservatives. I thought they were like Democrats with a and then they were like, oh, I'll give them a 10. I'm like, oh, shit.
50% approval rating, it's lower than any president in over 70 years. And yet the Democrats are doing no better either. Down the road from the president's rally, hopes and fears at the Detroiter bar.
He's helping the middle class of the country.
Sounds like he's convinced you.
Yeah. He convinced me the first time.
I'm a cook, and I got 2 kids to provide for. But this right now, it's bad. It's real bad.
You sound really worried.
I am.
What is he exactly worried about?
What's
He's
he
a
worried
cook.
about it? Dude, you're working.
You're
making money.
You probably make tips as a cook. You're not paying no taxes on those tips. What are you worried about?
Yeah, I mean, dude, what the hell is he talking? Well, let's see what he's got.
I'm a citizen. I was born in America, so yeah, I am really worried.
Of one fact,
he didn't give a reason why, though. He just said he's worried.
No, he did not.
There is
That's
no
what they
debate.
always
After
do.
just
Create the fear without logic.
Yep.
That's the Democrat way. Fear without logic.
That is definitely their way. It's funny though, because right here, what is her name again? I completely forgot.
Emily Campagno. She says it best, man. She points out how, you know what? I'm gonna let her say it.
It's just crazy because what she says just seems so idiotic.
What was idiotic is how it's happening.
What she's saying. What she's saying that happened.
We'll
let you guys see it.
I was just clarifying for our audience. I wanted to know that Emily, she'll tell it how it works. She'll tell you what she saw, and trust me, you will agree with her when it's all said and done. Go ahead, roll that
in the
clip,
women's
Bert.
bathroom after all these speeches.
No! To your point, we were so tightly packed in, I knew there was no way that I was going to be able to ever be able to make it to the restroom, so I didn't have one sip of anything all night because I just didn't want to have to go to the bathroom. I'll say this. It was like one big middle child situation where everyone talking, you're like, no, I'm sitting right here, actually. Every award that was given out had to do with something covering Biden. The photograph of the year, guys, of 2024 was a photo of Biden walking away from the podium after he signed the billion dollars worth of aid to Ukraine. That was the photo of the year?
Yeah. We know why that was the photo of the year, right? Because that was the day that they all got paid. That was the day that all these people started making all their real money off of the people.
Hell yeah, because
that was the day they started robbing us.
When they were starting to get laundering out of our government is what they were doing.
Pathetic.
Not the bullet whizzing through the head or the fight photograph of President Trump. That's true. Every story, every coverage that they gave themselves awards for had to do with President Biden.
It's pathetic. It's literally pathetic.
Was very pathetic,
and
man.
just so you guys know, this is the picture that's up on my background. The real picture of the year.
That should be the picture of the year for sure, no question.
It's not the picture of the century. The picture of the century.
Absolutely. Oh, it will go down in history as the picture of the century. Now, this is Victor Davis. I haven't really listened to this, but he was kind of doing a little bit. This was from almost a week or two ago.
Okay.
So he was just kind of giving he was kind of trying to give a little bit of his idea of what he thinks Trump's accomplishments for probably in the first 100 days would be.
Okay.
Obviously, they've been underreported from our lamestream legacy liberal dipshit media, but what are you going to do? You know, that's why we're here, people. We're here to bring you the truth.
Yep.
Over the 3-month mark, or the proverbial 100 days are on the horizon of a new administration. And when that happens, people like to take stock of it. The first 100 days have been revolutionary. We've never seen anything like it. Not during the Reagan administration, not during FDR, in terms of the magnitude of the changes. And that is why people are furious. Forget what the media says. We have the confidence of a majority of the American people. No one in their right mind thought anybody would try to stage a counter-revolution and be so successful in the first 100 days.
I love it.
There you go. That says it all right there, brother. That says it all right there.
Exactly.
Nobody thought that he was going to be able to do in the first 100 days what he's done. And here we are.
You know what, though? I don't agree with him, because you know what? We all thought he could.
Oh, yeah, no. I think he was referring to the liberal media. Victor Davis has always been in favor of
they know. No. What I'm saying, I'm just saying, we all knew he could do it. The media knew he could do it. They just don't want to admit it. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah, and he was just trying to point that out, that they were saying how they were, pitting themselves against the president. But he's right. I mean, they didn't. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. But here's the bottom line. They certainly didn't report it accordingly.
Exactly. I feel like this presidency is 1,000% an accomplishment. It has done nothing. Obviously you're not going to agree with everything. I still don't agree with everything that's going on with Israel right now. I don't know the whole facts of everything, so I try not to speak on it too much. But I just don't like what's going on with everything with that. But you're not going to agree with everything your president does. You're not going to agree with anything and everything that anyone does in general.
But here's the one thing that I do firmly believe, no matter what, that whatever he does, it's always, in his mind and his view, in the best interest of America first.
Yep.
And honestly, I don't know what else you can ask for in a leader except for one who stands up for you and your country.
Exactly.
And the truth be told, there's a lot of countries out there whose leaders don't stand up for them. They just stand up for the global elites, and they force their people into submission.
1,000%.
And this man saved us from that, from Kamala Harris and the Democrats.
1,000%. All right. Well, I feel like we covered the 100 days pretty good. I like where we're at. I like the direction that our country is heading. I feel like in 2 years we'll really know whether all the tariff stuff is a great thing for us, which I have no doubt in it. I'd love to see them get rid of the IRS, get rid of income tax, lower our property taxes like Vivek has been talking about.
Well, that's a state thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I just want to see people that are actually for the people, you know?
Oh, speaking of the Vivek thing, I just want to throw a quick little update on that.
Okay.
The billionaires' row is threw their money behind David Yost, but it hasn't really affected the numbers any.
I don't see Vivek losing, to be honest.
He's not going to. And I think the more the billionaires throw into it, because we as Ohioans, we're always still suspect.
Right.
When people start throwing a ton of money somewhere, the first thing we do is like, well,
why?
So, and Vivek still gets up there and tells the truth, and he's not afraid. And I love that.
That is very true. That is very true.
And look, again, Dave Yost is a good man. I will never diss Dave Yost. I think he's a good man. I think he's a good, attorney general. He's good at what he does. But the truth be told, Vivek Ramaswamy is the future. And I'm sorry, Dave. Dave Yost, man, you're a great dude, brother. It's nothing personal. But Vivek Ramaswamy is the next governor of Ohio.
Yep. And on that note, guys, we're going to end it. It's nothing personal with you guys. It's just the show's over. Show's over. We appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out. I would like to say, if you could, please make sure to hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, and smash the notification. It's really the free way to help this channel grow as big as possible. Also, I'd like to thank my family, thank Double D, and most importantly, the biggest of all, thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
I too, Bird, would like to thank you as always, our audience too, but most importantly, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And with that, good night, y'all.
Have a good one, everybody. Peace.